The moment we come into the world, the moment you have a body, what happens? There's a veil over our self. So we are all in a way born blind, often taken over by the moment, and we take our own moment and we take somebody else's moment and label us and box us into a category, us or other, good or bad, right or wrong, correct? And we run our life like this, in this box of blindness. So where did adharma start? We don't know. It's an ongoing battle. We have this tendency to lock it onto this poor guy Duryodhana. So I would suggest a little journal, not that you want to write down the knowledge, but rather write down where we internally get stuck. Clear? All right. So let's listen to the first 20 minutes, Pramod. Okay, I think we'll stop here. As I said, some of you who joined later, what we're going to do is listen to snippets of Gurudev. And then where he stops, until that point, we will go through it one verse at a time. Okay? So let's chant. She'll chant the Sanskrit and then hear it in English, and then we'll talk.
Om Shri Paramatmani Namaha. Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakaf Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra said, Sanjaya, gathered on the holy land of Kurukshetra, eager to fight, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do?
I can already see I'm going to be a little controversial. My head was bouncing, you know. Okay, let's begin with where Gurudev started. Dhritarashtra is blind, born blind, which seems a little strange. Like if we think from a knowledge perspective, we're neither born, not born, all that stuff, but I'm saying he's born blind, right? The moment we come into the world, the moment you have a body, what happens? There's a veil over our self. So we are all in a way born blind. If you look at it from that perspective, because blind is not a physical thing, it's a sign of ignorance, lack of awareness, not being conscious, not awakened fully. So there's degrees of blindness. But this is the one thing we all have to really realize. That's what popped in my head is, oh my God, the moment you take a body, it means what? We're blind. We're unconscious. We're unaware to what? Our essence, who we are. We're unaware of the Lord as the driver, as the charioteer, that life is run by his will, its will. Correct? So in some ways, we have to already start to relate. Look, to me, Bhagavad Gita will only hold depth of value and transformation, if we can really put ourselves in this position, right? You're over there also. That's the only way. Otherwise, it becomes concepts, or it becomes stuff that we try to memorize and hold on to so that we can be better teachers by vomiting it out to our students. Right? So that's not what this is. This is really a journey of asking ourselves, what the heck is going on? What am I really doing? What is the value of me having a guru, me being in seva, me saying I'm committed to this path beyond just service by running around in a wrapping paper with the box being empty, right? I'm not saying we're all doing that all the time. I'm saying it's easy for us to get caught in that because we're on a journey of becoming conscious. So Dhritarashtra is born blind, just like we are all born blind. And then the next thing Gurudev talked about were his 100 sons. He said they were arrogant and rowdies. Arrogant and rowdies. What? Only more ignorance. Darkness cannot give you more light. It can only give you darkness. So the 100 sons are a representation of if we keep walking around in ignorance, walking around unconscious, if we keep walking around with the same old beliefs, assumptions, ideas, ideology, then anything we do in life, anything we create in life, including the choices that we make in our life, whether we like it or not, are born of ignorance. They are not going to be clear. They are not the best of solutions. These are not the most sort of work smart, less hard type of solutions. They become work hard solutions. Are you following what I'm saying? Don't just take this as a story. Don't just kind of hear it in one ear and out the other. Don't sort of quote meditate through it. You know, you have to start to ponder. You have to decide that I will need to look inside myself. I'm saying, oh, I'm including myself 100% in it. I'm no different. I told you in the very beginning, I'm on a journey like you, but I'm committed to wanting to go through the Bhagavad Gita with a little more consciousness, a little more awareness than, oh, I read it, or I heard Guruji chuckle at it, laugh at it, feel that transcendence that he naturally gives us when he speaks. Oh, wow, beautiful. But then it doesn't strike us inside. Am I clear? So this is an exercise to follow. Like I wrote down for myself an exercise to follow. What things do I really just follow on autopilot? That's ignorance born out of ignorance, blindness born out of blindness, unconsciousness. Are we clear? And then he says the five brothers are sort of everybody loves them along those lines, right? That's what he said. Righteous. There's sort of some degree of ethics and morality. I think we have to say some degree. Number one, I already made a statement. The moment you have a body, you have ignorance. So there's this tendency to romanticize the Pandus. In a subtle single word, I'm saying, oh, Arjun, oh, but they have a body, which means what? They are also born with some degree of ignorance, darkness. You know, we just have the extreme kind of shown with Dhritarashtra, and then perhaps Arjun and the Pandus are somewhere else in the middle. I don't know. And then, of course, you have the Lord on the other side, Lord Krishna on the other end, fully awake, fully alert, divine himself, right? So we mustn't look to Arjun or whatever's happening with the Pandavas and the stories that you know of Mahabharata from the good guys versus the bad guys. This is a child's approach because in good and behind the good is what? Listen, a righteous man pretending to be righteous is worse than an overtly bad guy. You know, they can do a lot more harm. And this actually is the case. I mean, if you even look today's world, you look at all the content, all of ourselves included, doesn't really matter. We speak everything that everybody might want to hear. But what goes on inside is the same thing that goes on for Duryodhan, right? The same stuff that went on for Dhritarashtra. So that's the other thing that we have to really be aware of. Look to qualities of what makes our mind and where is the Lord taking us? Where is the divine taking us? Am I clear and it's still audible for all of you on Zoom? Clear? Yeah. Okay. So this is an important piece, right? Not to romanticize, say, hey, what's really going on? So there was another note for me. Righteous versus arrogant. The five brothers are praised by everybody. That says a lot, that sentence that Gurudev made. No, everybody likes to be liked. Because where did we end? Where Gurudev's talking about criticism, praise. If you're born, you have to know, like the waves in the ocean, criticisms, praise, blame is part of life, but we're averse to one versus the other. And the starting point is, oh, these five brothers, everybody likes them and they're somewhat ethical and so there's a tendency to even romanticize them. But what? I mean, they also have their challenges. If you look at the righteous of all righteous brothers, who? Yudhishthir. What did he do? He gambled away the kingdom, the right to the kingdom. Who does that right belong to? The citizens, correct? He has no right to gamble that away, but he gambles away the rights of the citizens. That already tells you something. No? It's a vasana, it's an addiction. He's a gambler. Maybe they don't say it like that, but if you stake your kingdom, it means you've lost control. Your righteousness has another root underneath it. You know. Are you with me? You're hearing what I'm saying, correct? Yes, the rest of you. What else did he do? Gambled away the wife, but before we got to there, what did he do? Brothers. Ooh, my family, my family. Nah, not so much. He put the brothers at stake one by one by one. Does that mean he's a bad guy? Maybe, maybe not. I'm just simply saying that that's what's happening in that moment. He's taken over by the moment. That's all. We are often taken over by the moment, and we take our own moment and we take somebody else's moment and label us and box us into a category, us or other, good or bad, right or wrong. Correct? And we run our life like this, in this box of blindness, ignorance. So this Mahabharata, when I first sort of heard about it, was like, oh, a story. But then if I break it down like this, it becomes very real for me. You don't have to get into characters. Did they exist? Didn't they exist? Forget about all of that. I'm not a historian. I'm not a scholar. I certainly don't know anything about Sanskrit other than to hear it and enjoy it and close my eyes to it. But that's not it. We're saying manana. How do I look further inward into my life, into my own mind, into my own darkness, ignorance? Clear? So that's your first choice, your first commitment is to say, I'm not trying to write everything down, which I see some of you frantically doing. Please don't do that. Forget it. Hear what you hear, let it go in. And when it's over, go and make notes, because then what resonates with you stays with you. And that's a sign that is your journey. That is where we have to dig. I often say this to people, particularly new people. Oh, you're so lucky. You had so much time with Gurudev. That is true. I wish I could get direct instructions like you had from Gurudev. I understand. But at least in terms of the direct instructions, what I can say is when you hear his knowledge online, in person, if you're reading something and something strikes you, that is him directly speaking to you. That is divine drishti, right? That is divine grace. That is divine connection. That is knowing that the Guru walks with me. As and when you need to look in the mirror, the right thing, right person, right response comes to you. But you have to be conscious of that. You have to be aware of that first and foremost. Are we clear? So this is your work, my work, our work together. I underline the word work. It means contemplate, think about it. Don't just hypothesize and ask questions that are conceptual. That say, well, how did Sanjay actually, and how did this take place in the battlefield? 700 verses. I wasn't there, and who really cares? The essence is what matters. And Gurudev said it very beautifully. He gave a vision of truth. No? How haven't you seen sometimes you're in front of Gurudev in a glimpse, in a matter of moment, a load gets unlifted and you find yourself very clear. Yes? Crystal clear. Oh my God. And it's not because he's talking to you. Sometimes you just hear something. Sometimes you just feel something. Sometimes he gazes at you when he's on the altar, on the stage, and he's looking about and something shifts. Yes? Maybe it happened like that. So don't get into those kind of weird questions that you expect me to answer because you might not like my answer. But you put me in that position. If you ask me a question, it means you now want an answer, and the teacher might not give the most perfect answers, or they are maybe more perfect. So this is our journey together. I'm super excited about it. Yes, I think it's a great place to go. Don't keep writing about, I can't make it tomorrow. Will it be okay? It's your choice. You make your decisions because I already have lots. If I come Saturday, can you then tell me and fill me in on, I can't do that. Okay? No. Good. You find your way. We will put it on YouTube. I just will need to find the resources to make sure we get it done as soon as possible. Then you can always catch up. But it's good to catch up before you come back to continue on the next one. If you missed 4, catch up on those 4. Don't just start in the middle of the 5. All right? Okay. So just the English, read the English again.
Dhritarashtra said, Sanjaya, gathered on the holy land of Kurukshetra.
Hold on. So gathered on the holy land of Kurukshetra. I don't know about you, but I have a hard time with this. How is it Kurukshetra? Meaning Dharma field. By the time you get to war, where's the Dharma? I'm not saying, because remember, war is inevitable. Krishna, as Gurudev said, has gone 3 times to, quote, negotiate, ask for 5 little small villages. Duryodhan said, I will not even give a point of a needle, nothing. And he's been cheating. And this family feud actually has been going on from the moment Pandu was made king, the father of the brothers, right? It's since that time the family feud is going on. This is how karmas, tendencies, everything carries. Just notice that it's crazy. Pandu's dead and gone. Nobody's thinking about him. They don't talk about him. They just talk about the 5 brothers and Duryodhan. Yes? They're not, oh, Pandu, nothing. So for me, it's a difficult thing to imagine. Like, Dharma Kshetra, battle, field of Dharma. By the time they have come to the battlefield, there has been so much adharma from so many different people by my small little mind. It's not a judgment. I'm saying this is life. Don't narrow it down into right and wrong, good or bad, should be or should not be. Like if I think about it, Bhishma, you know Bhishma? That's the great uncle, for those of you who don't know, who is happened to fight on the Kauravas side, Duryodhan's side, quote unquote, the bad guys, not where the 5 brothers are. He's on that side, and he's the great uncle. He has this boon of self-death. He does not die until he decides he dies. That's a story. Maybe we'll come to it at some point. It's a beautiful story. But he was supposed to be the king at some point. And because his father had a little bit of the hots for this fisherwoman's daughter, he was married. The father had 7 or 8 children. There's a whole story about each of those children being freed. I will get to that if it comes up in its right context. Bhishma was the last child that survived from his prior marriage. Hear it as a story, okay? Enjoy it. Don't get into like, what now, where are we going? But just hear the point that I'm making is it's all life. What we are entering into is life itself. It's not something that happened 5,000 years ago. It's happening to you and me right now where we are. And so Bhishma was the rightful heir, talented, capable, trained in all the arts, martial arts, and everything else, righteous, quote, righteous king, really the correct heir. But one day, his dad is gone out hunting to enjoy, and he sees a fisherwoman on a boat. And guess what? Like I said, he's a little attracted, to say the least, and he wants to marry her. And her father says, no problem, you can marry her, except her children should be the heir to the throne. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Don't hear the story. Hear what's being said. Mine. That's what's being said. It's not the throne. It's my children should be at the throne. Attachment, entanglement, moha. Correct? It's the first place moha showed up and dharma took a turn. Are you with me? He should have been the rightful heir, but guess what happened? The son who loves his father, mine again. See how the ego, see how the small mind, see how the darkness keeps showing up in the greatest of heroes and characters. One could see it as, oh, Bhishma loved his father so much that he made a promise to the fisherwoman and the father of the fisherwoman. Don't worry about it. I will not take the throne. It's my promise. He took a vow not to give up the throne. Once again, is that right his? Is it his right? Just for that thing? If he's the prince and he's supposed to be the rightful heir and he was crowned prince, no? He was a crowned prince. Now, it's true, he could be hairy and walk away. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? This is all possible. And the uncle, whatever his name was, he also walked away. No, it's possible. He could do that. But he's already made a promise without really thinking about it, without looking into the consequences of what this means. Neither the father of Bhishma nor Bhishma is at all conscious of the long-term consequence, which is kind of what's happening in the Mahabharata. Like, dude, Arjun shows up on the day of the war and he goes, oh my God, I don't want to do this to my own people. I don't know if that's love or not, but I get it. But haven't you been thinking about this all this time? This didn't happen yesterday night, and then you showed up here today morning. Yes? Well, who did you think you were going to fight? He knew all along who was going to be on the other side. It's that we're not conscious, we're not clear. Notice the blind king is asking the question. That is the first inquiry. It is from ignorance that seeking eventually comes. You know, every Gita starts with a question, a query, whether it's, Dhritarashtra asking, or King Janak asking, or Rama asking, or whoever it might be. So it's beginning in the same way. But go back to Bhishma, look at Arjun, look at our life, it's all the same. We don't really think things through. We make decisions. We justify our decisions, our choices. We line up our rationale and we call it thinking it through. Did you hear me? Yes? Don't meditate on this, all right? Really don't meditate on this. Hear what I just said. What's coming out is we have this sense of rationale, logic. We decide first and then we line up our reasoning. And it makes it up here like what? Yes. Arjun decided we're going to war. Now he's going to have the whole thinking process for 700 verses. God bless him with God. Amazing. No? He didn't ask about self-realization. He's not interested in enlightenment, in my opinion. He's not looking to get self-knowledge. He just dropped a question in the question basket. That's it. Correct? That's all that's happened is a question in the question basket. Oh, Guruji, in this case, Krishna, oh my God, what should I do? I have to fight my own people and I really don't want to. Can I run and get the hell out of here? Or do I have to do this? That's the question. Yes? Don't mistake it. He's not saying, give me. So this is why we are the same as Arjun and anybody else. Because, yes, we have a guru, but we're not really putting in the question basket about self. All our questions are about a job, a relationship, a home, the traffic, which city I should move to, how to drop a boyfriend, how to gain a boyfriend. It's all these. This is a battlefield, right? These questions are a battlefield in our own mind. It's the same Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre that Arjun is in front of, the same battlefield. Are we together? Clear? All right. So Bhishma agreed with the fisherwoman's father and his own father. Don't worry about it. I'm so over it. Renunciate. I don't need it. I'm really, really okay. They can have the kingdom. The child that has not even been thought about, conceived of, has already been given right to the throne. In the meantime, in the meantime, Dhritarashtra was denied the throne, though he's the elder, because he was handicapped. He could not see, and so they felt that a king who cannot see may not be the best for the kingdom. Pandu was also sick. He had, I don't know, sickle cell or some such thing. He was also sick, but how and why they chose him over the other dude, I don't want to get into. I really don't know. I could start to hypothesize, and you already see how my hypotheses go, right? But you're agreeing to this, right? You're seeing another light to it. I'm de-romanticizing it just for us to see that we are them and they are us. Are you with me?
Mhm.
Of course, there's maybe different layers of, imagine Krishna Bhagavan himself is driving your chariot and you have spent a lifetime being buddies with him and pals with him. So I'm not looking at all of that. I'm just pulling our attention to where we are. Bhishma renounces. Do you hear? You'll see later, for all of you who don't know, Arjun also tries to renounce the same unconscious. I don't need the throne, Krishna. If I have to kill my own people, what's the point? Let me go on. Yes? Blind, unaware, unconscious. A child that has not been conceived of is already given the seat. They have violated their own rules about is this person capable or not. So, where did adharma start? We don't know. It's an ongoing battle. We have this tendency to lock it onto this poor guy Duryodhan, you know, and the 99 brothers maybe, or the father. It's just a moment in time that is an accumulation of a life, lineage, generations, lifetimes. Yes? And so because he does that, Bhishma doesn't become the king, and then the whole story continues. This is why we've already taken a turn. Yes? Continue.
Dhritarashtra said, Sanjaya gathered on the holy land of Kurukshetra, eager to fight. What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do?
My sons. We're back to that, correct? My father has the hots for this fisherwoman. I love my father. I'm going to give it this up. Are you seeing? This whole thing continues like that. My sons, what did they do? He doesn't even say, and my brother's sons, Pandu. He could have said that. My sons and sons of Pandu. How much other there is. Our courses, every single course begins with, I belong to you. The start and the end of every knowledge, all these 700 verses is what? How much belonging you feel and how much you don't feel. Where you begin and where you end. The end journey is apparently Arjun comes to everything is one, or at least that's where the divine eventually takes him. But in the beginning, does Arjun have me, mine also? 100%. That's what starts the Bhagavad Gita. My uncle, my kin and friends and family are on the other side. How can I kill? Is Arjun against violence? Ahimsa versus hinsa? Yes or no? No. He's saying, I'm ready to kill. I will slaughter them, just make sure it's other people, just not my own. He's not looking at the virtue. He's not looking at the right and wrong in this moment. He's just saying, other people I have no problem fighting with. Other people I have no problem using my sword and my arrows with. If it's other people, I want the kingdom. We'll get to these verses, right? But it's just that I don't want to kill my people. So the entire conversation in the question basket is about attachment, entanglement, me and mine. Yes? Okay.
Sanjaya Uvacha Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyudam Duryodhanastada Acharyamupasangamya Raja Vachanamabravit. Sanjaya said, at that time, seeing the army of the Pandavas drawn up for battle and approaching Dronacharya, King Duryodhana spoke the following words.
King Duryodhana, is that what it says?
That's what it says.
Was he a king already by that time or just a crowned prince?
Prince.
Crowned prince. Okay, so translations will have these things. But anyway, so who is Sanjaya? So now there's a dialogue. Dhritarashtra, the blind king, he cannot see, has next to him Sanjaya. And it is Sanjaya who is narrating to the king, the blind king, what is happening on the battlefield. How? Sanjaya has been given a special power, vision, the ability to see. And so he, sitting with the king, the blind king, is sort of reflecting, looking out into the battlefield and relaying everything that is happening. So now Sanjaya speaks. First Dhritarashtra, the blind king, spoke. Now Sanjaya speaks. Who is Sanjaya? He's a charioteer, but who is he in the character? The youngest brother. Half brother, I think. But he's the youngest brother. And this character is wise. He's a minister to the king. Correct? Sanjaya is a minister. He's sort of that voice that we have in our own life, inside ourselves. That's my perception, okay? I'm just saying, I'm just talking about this the way I perceive it. He's that voice that says, I'm not sure if this is the thing to do. But then you have the blind king who lines up everything to justify the decision that's already been made. But we always have Sanjaya in our life. Do we not? How much do we listen to Sanjaya is another story. But that is there. And that battle goes on forever. You see, 700 verses words. Sanjaya is talking and talking. And you think Dhritarashtra is listening? No. Because right now there's only 3 people in this whole group of hundreds and hundreds of people that are listening to the Lord, to that wise voice that we have in our head, the bit of the light that's there, the awareness, consciousness, and the darkness. All 3 are the 3 players at any given moment that exist, coexist. What are the 3 players? Our small mind, our past, our conditioning, our right, our wrong, the vasanas, the impressions, the stuff that we've already decided. Honestly, we could stop here. The stuff that we have already concluded, we simply again and again and again and again live that same thing. all we do is take the facts and the circumstances that are outside and line them up to make it appear new and a decision. Does this make sense? Does this register for you? Yes or no? Shake, tell me something. You guys. Yes. These three things are always there, the knower, the known, and the, are you with me? The knowledge, it's always there, these three things. They are there at the beginning of the Gita. The darkness, the small mind, the awareness that's growing in motion, being more conscious, alert, and divine, Lord Krishna. These are the only three, yes, that are really present for the whole thing. Arjun is the question, the doubt that we go through. Should I or should I not? The conflict. Are we together? So this is Sanjaya. He's the minister. And now Sanjaya speaks, and read the English again.
Sanjaya said, "At that time, seeing the army of the Pandavas drawn up for battle and approaching Dronacharya, King Duryodhana spoke the following words."
So Duryodhana approaches Dronacharya. Who is Dronacharya? The guru, the teacher. Yes? Duryodhana is in one place, Dronacharya is in another place. They're not standing next to each other, otherwise that word approach wouldn't be used. The armies are standing in front of each other. Duryodhana, Lord Krishna, everybody's doing their own thing in their chariot, and at this point, Duryodhana approaches his guru. We have a guru. I don't just mean the guru, the master. How often do we seek out guidance and advice? At least we attempt to, we approach, we want to. But then do we listen or follow? No. You see clearly, Duryodhana is not interested in anything Lord Dronacharya has to say, the guru. He's simply wanting to what?
Vent.
Yeah, copy paste, vomit. Whatever he needs to say, but it's not like he's really there to say, Guru, this is what's going on. What do I do? Or how is this? Or look, or share. He's just wanting to emote.
Pashyetam Panduputranam Acharyamagatim Chamum Vyudam Drupadaputrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. Behold, O revered master, the mighty army of the sons of Pandu, arrayed for battle by your talented pupil, Drishtadyumna, son of Drupada.
Revered master. It seems respectful, doesn't it? Like he's approaching in humbleness, does it not? But then he says, behold. Nobody talks that way. If you really come from the place of revered master, you don't say, behold. You say, Guruvar, revered master, in front of me, these are the tone, the vocabulary, everything is different. So you already know he's not going there for anything but some other thing that's along the line of arrogance or something else. Right? Read the rest of that sentence.
The mighty army of the sons of Pandu, arrayed for battle by your talented...
By your. The emphasis where? Your. Look, first of all, who looks at the enemy first versus their own? Who does that? Somebody who's insecure, somebody who's scared. At any given situation, the moment you are looking at what the other is up to, what they have or don't have, where they are, how they are, you are comparing. You're not secure. You're not solid in your position. If not, you look to your own strength. Yes? But that's not what Duryodhana does. His first thing is go to the guru, show off, and then talk about them, the other. Yes? And then kind of slightly sticks it.
Hmm.
Don't you think so? That's the feeling I get. I did read that verse somewhere else because I thought, well, maybe he didn't say your, I don't know. But he does kind of stick it, by saying, so see, look at what your students are doing. Honestly, I must say that there have been moments where, at least in my mind, when something happens within the foundation and A does this and B does that, and then it's a disaster, and then my mind gloats a little, like say,
Told
you
you.
know, have you had this? Like, well, I know. That's like saying, without saying it out loud, in our mind, we are being defiant, or what's the word? Mm, a little bit like this, like Arjun, Duryodhan. Like, well, I know, Guruji. Huh? Yeah, it's your, well, I don't know. He must want it that way. I don't know. It's so fascinating if you start to dig this. And really, I appreciate everybody joining, because it's really your energy that's creating this dialogue or commentary or whatever it's happening in this moment. Because otherwise, I would read it and I kind of get, oh, yours? He's doing that. And then I would move on, into the next verse. So this creates a bigger awareness, maybe spreading the net. So see, your students are in front of me, because technically now he's on his side. You trained them. Now look, you have to fight them. This is what you did. It's your knowledge. It's because of you. You gave them freedom. Now see, deal with it. That's kind of what's going on. No? Okay. What happens next? We have to wait, because it's exactly 9:45, which is our time.